be interviewing, actually, we're working with a magazine at Calgary. They're going to be doing a story. And so we're going to have the first conversation live. We like to be transparent. So we're just waiting for I am here with, sorry. Hello, hello.
Oh my God, I better put a filter on you guys. You guys looking so beautiful. Okay, here we go.
Well, there's no filter here.
Thank God. You guys are the real deal.
So,
So, guys,
we didn't start
hi.
out this way. If you looked at our before photos, yeah, it wasn't too bad.
So,
I just posted you guys on my socials, letting everybody know that we're doing the live today. I'm Jill Robinson. Pleasure to meet you guys.
nice to meet you, Joe.
Yes. So I have been following you guys probably since end of 2022. And when I found you guys, I said to myself, oh, I became obsessed with watching you guys, all three of you, Jason, Cynthia, and Gary. I feel like what you guys are doing, trying to let everyone know what you're doing with your movements, your maneuvers, you're teaching everyone about fascia. We all want to learn what that is that I'm here with. Because some people we're in Calgary, Alberta, do not really know what all of this is. So today we want to talk with you guys about teaching us about what you guys do.
Perfect.
Awesome, let's do it.
Let's do it.
So one of the craziest things about what we do is that you would think, because we have a whole bunch of practitioners out there, hundreds of thousands that follow us, you'd think that we would all know about fascia, but we spent 12 years in the clinic working specifically on fascia, or what we thought was fascia. So what we thought was fascia and what we currently experience out there as fascial work, we found it to be a little bit different. And so when we discovered that fascia was different than we had thought it was, our whole primary goal was to find some way to share it with the world. We had a couple options. One of them was to go and to try and prove it scientifically, but we already had results. So we had something that was working in a clinical environment, but there was no theory or science to support it. So it worked in practice, but it didn't work in theory. So we used the time in the pandemic, the three of us, we got together during the pandemic to live the belief system that we were living with. And that belief system became, we thought we were going to teach people about fascia and maneuvers to get out of pain, but what that transitioned into was a whole life transformation. And so that's where we are today. And there's a lot of arguments, and there will continue to be, about what fascia is. And I think I can tell you and say pretty accurately today is that I don't believe that until I leave this planet, I will truly understand it. But what we're really good at is programming it, understanding what it does, how it works, what to do with it. And I don't have to know what's inside my computer and what the components are in order to use it. And this is where we're at. We decided that we're out of the computer hardware business and we're in the software business, because at the end of it, we're a fluid, adaptive, biological computer.
I also think one of the primary things is people go to school for years to learn about the body. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of pathways and a lot of stuff going on inside of there. And there's a lot of arguments about how it works and how it functions. So what we did is we said, okay, can we take somebody off of the street and teach them how to help themselves in simple movements or simple techniques? And so that's really what the fascial maneuvers are, and the way that we define fascia is we break it down into a way that people can do it without having any previous knowledge about how the body works.
Oh, okay. So it's for everyone. I know, and that's what that's what I really got from all your videos. Yeah, anyone can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, because as a student, I went to school for 7 years to study the human body.
Oh, okay.
And reading about the human body for 7 years is very different than actually working with it or playing with it. And so taking all of that knowledge, it's like, at the end of it, I don't really remember much about what happened in school. But over the last 3-4 years, playing around with my body and actually experimenting with it and saying, well, what if I try this? Or what if I try that? Or what did you get when you tried this? I started to learn that it was actually quite simple. And so instead of going to school for 7 to 10 years to learn about how to heal the body, you can actually just play with your own body with the fascial maneuvers and start to learn the little techniques and what works best for you.
Yeah. You know what I love about you guys is how, like, it is a lifestyle. I saw that you guys kind of started your Instagram not too long ago, and you guys have been going. What I really noticed about you guys is how close you guys are. I'm not sure if you guys are all related. Is this a thing? No? Okay, so you're just a team, but you can really see that you guys are a team and really there together. And your space that you guys have is so beautiful. I love your kitchen and everything. But the movements that you teach us are just, anywhere from your maneuvering your ankle if you've got pain, or your wrist, and it just starts from there. So I am a relaxation massage therapist, and I went to school for that. Learned a little bit of the body. And, I really don't know that much about it anymore because, like you said, you kind of forget when you're at school, like what you learn. But really, what you learn what works. And so recently for myself, like you, Gary, you were not doing well back in the day and you were feeling like unwell and you had to figure out yourself how to heal yourself. So you yourself are somebody who does this, and we can learn from you just because we know it's not just you trying to do this as a business. You want to help people in such a big way. Like your quote says, you want to have 1 billion people know about what's going on. And I want to make sure that I share as much as I can. We have a yogis and healers section. We're going to make sure we put you in there. And you guys are teachers. You guys are really making a path for people to think of health in a different way. And like you said, heal yourself. Yoga and spirituality is a huge thing in Calgary and everywhere since COVID, right? So as soon as COVID, did hit, everybody was kind of getting into that. But I think it's not just about yoga. It's literally fixing and aligning. And a lot of people, they don't know anything about the body. But watching your videos every day, and we can practice along with you, it really makes a difference, and it gets the people into health. And so it's like I'm one of those people that you've got into that. So it's working, you guys. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Cynthia grew up in a metaphysical practice because at the end of it, the human body, we have, and by the way, what we're doing is bringing together world leaders. It's bringing together fitness people. We have world's top surgeons consulting with us now, hospitals, trauma centers, colleges and universities. The reason why is that we respect everybody who's helping people with the body, and what we're doing is not exclusive; it's inclusive. It allows every other practice and everything else to exist. It's just looking at the body a different way. Cynthia grew up in a metaphysical practice and never was even taught about the body, and so she's had the 3-year crash course, and right now I put her up in front of any practitioner that's out there to resolve an issue and have somebody walking away without even technically knowing necessarily how everything works.
Yes, that's true. Yes, yes. I knew nothing about the body. I've learned over the years where my liver is and my kidneys, and it's been quite a process. But I now know where to touch and how to fix things on my own body. And I think my granddaughter said to me one day, she says, "Sure, it's nice, Mima, that somebody in the family knows how to do this," because she was having an issue with her leg and her knee. So it's definitely been a process.
Yeah, everybody has pain. I noticed that. Like, it's kind of like you guys are like magicians, and it's very interesting watching you guys. It really gets people wanting to do what you do. And like, it's not chiropractics, but it's very like you have to go to school for. I was like literally researching. Oh my God, I want to learn how to do this stuff. And it was like how many years to be a chiropractor. And I thought, oh my, never mind, forget it. I'm not going to go forward with that. But what I saw you guys doing was helping each other, and you can do it by yourself. So it's like it is really for everyone, and it's just like every ailment in the body you can fix with a maneuver. It's so crazy to me. It's not something that people who aren't into that understand, and it's like magic. It looks like magic when you guys say, okay, and go,
So
and we're good. It's like
the reason why it looks like magic is if I took my iPhone back, 100 years ago or 500 years ago and showed a video of somebody, situation, it would look like magic. What it is it's technology, and it's understanding the body in a new way. It's not because in order to make fascial maneuvers work, we had to throw out the entire systems of how the body works. And this is why we believe it's a unifying factor. We have, like I said, we have the largest group of people that are coming to us right now are chiropractors, medical doctors, nurses, practitioners, body workers, therapists, in the hundreds of thousands. And the reason why that is because we're looking at the body differently. It's not about another way of doing something you've already done. It's about, it's a completely different field. Like we thought we were playing football, but to tell you the truth, with the human body, we're playing chess. And everybody else out there is still playing football. Not everybody, but people are learning and they're growing it. And again, we don't want to claim ownership of this. This is the reason why fascial maneuvers and the intellectual property is free of charge. If you have a program and you're a doctor or you want to build a movement program, you can build it on fascial maneuvers and we'll even support you.
Well, part of it is because if you look at technology in the last 10 years, it's grown more than healthcare has in the last 100. And the reason why is technology's been open sourced. Well, if we open source health and wellness, like what does that look like? It's bringing all the modalities together and having them collaborate and work together to grow. Because right now I go to school for 7 years to be a massage therapist, while someone else goes to school for 8 years to be a chiropractor, but you know nothing about each other's practice.
Yeah.
And so they talk to each other, and sometimes they do share, but I'm not allowed to do what that person does, even though I have a decade of experience working with the body because of the licensing and all the other things.
Right.
So it's actually people from learning and working on each other. So what we're doing, part of our mission is to make this accessible to everybody and open source health and wellness. To say, hey, here's a new way of looking at the body. Here's our perspective. Why don't you take this, try it, build on it, and share it back with us so that we can all start to grow and actually learn how to function in this body optimally.
Yeah. I'm noticing with health is that a lot of people are kind of throwing out the grocery aisle store kind of thing, and they want to eat and take supplements and be healthy. I think we all realize that as we get older because we actually need it or else we're not okay, like our pain. So I feel like if young people learn this now through their parents learning this, oh, that'd be so awesome. Like you said, there's no trademark, so to speak, on it because it's like yoga. Everyone can do it. It's for everybody and they do it their way. But I think what you guys really have honed on is doing it the safe way because you guys really know the body. So I don't suggest to people go out there and start trying to do this and teaching people, make sure you guys are educated before you do.
Well, that's
some people are like me. I'm like, oh, let's try it. Trying it with my friends, actually, a few maneuvers. And I'm not sure I did them all correct, but we're going to learn.
Here's the thing. You can't get hurt when you're working with fascia because it holds the muscles, it holds the bones, it holds the tendons, the organs, the ligaments, and everything else inside. So when you're working on the fascia, it's slow, it's methodical, it's with breathing, it's in counter rotation. It's very simple movement, and it's really anybody can do it. And if you do get hurt through it, it's actually not getting hurt. It's because the muscles or the bones or the tendons and the ligaments, they're moving back into place and they get caught on a restriction along the way. But if you do another maneuver, it's likely that it will resolve that. So what we say is if you run into an issue when you're doing the maneuvers, is go to the next maneuver, whatever that might be in the sequence.
And it's really easy for people, we want people to hear this message. You can coach somebody through it through your personal experience only. As a practitioner, the majority of things that we would touch are things that we had no experience with other than touching them. If you haven't lived it in your body, don't teach it. And this is where all of our arguments come in medicine or society, is that we're pointing our fingers at people. But if you've been through the fascial maneuvers and you've been able to solve your issue with your back or your neck, you're now okay to show somebody else. The videos explain it all. You can go from zero all the way through to a practitioner. Currently in our programs, by starting off on the 1-day reset, the 3-day, the 7-day, the 28-day, the lifestyle artist program, and then watching our videos, you could literally become the best practitioner in the world without anything else. So we want you to share it. And we found when we trained during COVID, we trained 6 people in person. And what was interesting is that one of them in particular went out within the 2nd week and started sharing this and helping people. That person happens to have the most success generally as a business are working and helping people because they weren't afraid. And that's what we want you to understand is that you can't screw it up. If you want to help and you want to be a coach, what you do is, since the technique is already there, put a fascial maneuver video on, put 10 people in the room, and then when they're done, talk to them. That's what a coach does. Helps them through it, shares their experience.
That's amazing.
I just want to add to that because I learned the practice within about 3 weeks. And I built a business of having one client to having a full schedule and tripling my price at the time, just from 3 weeks of training. So what's happened and what we've seen is that people are learning this work faster and faster the more we understand it. Because what happens is we understand a new layer and then we simplify it and we can share that with others. So a big part of our education is to simplify it. If we can teach a kid how to do it, then anybody can learn it. And that's really our philosophy. And this is the only way right now. My generation is in trouble. Everybody in my
We're the same generation, I think, yeah.
Yeah, my generation is sick right now. They don't even know it. Some of them do know it and they're not speaking about it. And so health is being silenced right now. People are not talking about what they're going through in their body. And it's a really important...
I don't think they know how to.
No,
it's not really like, it's not really a topic that people sit and let's talk about health.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing that for the mag, to kind of open that conversation, not just talking about film and TV and what's exciting. Because I think what's exciting is healing yourself. So that's very funny that like when I found you guys, I was in that mindset where I wanted to change my life. I wanted to feel better in my own skin. And everyone feels that. We all feel the same. So that's what really connects us. And I feel like you guys are just in Vancouver. You're virtual. If people want to, like, look how easy it was to connect with you almost. I can't believe, like, you guys are like titans of your industry right now. And yet you guys are so answering and connecting and respond on your messages. You guys are such nice people inside. I can see that. And I really love that. Like, love you guys more than like what you're doing almost, because I feel like what comes from inside you of wanting to help people, not everybody wants to do that. So I love that your mission statement on your website as well. I could read it off, but people can go to the website, humangarage.org, is it? Or .org? .net, sorry guys. We'll put that in the links, don't worry. But we're going to make sure that we have a nice ad and page for you guys in the next issue so people can see you. We'll do like a QR code. I want as many people that we can, send your way to watch your show, your videos. But I'm just thinking, wow, how cool would it be if you guys came to Calgary one day and did like a class? So yeah, it's something we could put together for sure. Like if we start promoting this more, which I will be, I feel like that could be something that I could bring the community together of the people that like health and want to do like this yoga event that we're planning anyway. So I feel like, woo, my mind is thinking.
Here's our plan.
Okay.
We want everybody who's ever tried the maneuvers to share it with somebody else. And as they start to share it more and gather groups together to do weekly classes, there's going to be classes that start to really blow up. And we want people to share that with us, and we might show up one day to a random class in their city. So we want to encourage you to host a class and start bringing people together, because we're going to hear about that, and we might show up one day to share. And
well, you better host the class, you guys. It'd be like a surprise. I don't want to blow it for everyone, but
my personal favorite is in-person classes. I love them. That's how we started. We started in the park with just whoever we could pull in off of the street. And,
okay, very guerrilla style. I see that.
So we're down in our retreat center in Mexico right now. That's where we're at.
Okay, right. So that's right.
And what we're doing is we're preparing for a world tour. We're actually preparing to have stadiums of people in the 50 to 100,000 range in places like India. It's a movement that's happening around the world right now, and it's primarily what Jason was saying earlier. The generation, your generation, the reason why I chose to close the clinic and wanted to get out is that in 2019, my patient base in a physical medicine clinic went from usually 40 to 65-year-old to overnight 25 to 35-year-old women. 100% of them had autoimmune disease, and the majority of them had no clue that they had it. And what I said, our clients at that time, our patients came from all over the world because we were working with pro athletes, we were working with celebrities, we worked with teens, we were fixing the end of life cases and stuff like that with 52 practitioners. And I said, this has to be more than just an anomaly. This is something that's going on globally right now. And that's why we actually have done what we've done. And that's why we've made all the programs accessible. Is that it doesn't matter your social or economic status. You can learn to help and heal yourself, and you can actually help others. And if you want to, you can generate money by helping others for trading your time.
Yeah.
And
it can be a human garage and work with you. Is that correct? If people reach out and they can be trained by you guys, yeah?
yeah, well, actually, we will be doing training and certification programs this year, but right now, all of our practitioners, because we don't have the programs, they're going through our 28-day reset, which is effectively our practitioner training from 2.5 years ago. And it's curtailed into a self-help program, because what we found is practitioners who would take and learn from us, but who wouldn't embody it, couldn't reproduce the results. And if they were able to embody it, if they went through the 28-day reset, because it's not about the body only. What your generation is learning right now, and my generation too, is that every disease in the world is emotional. And you can, people are doing everything right. I know people that have everything they're doing right, and they're getting older, more dysfunctional, more broken down, and sicker. And that's because it's not working anymore, because we're at the peak of understanding the body from a physical point of view. What we have to bring into, or what we're bringing into the world, is an awareness that if I'm angry and I eat, my body's in fight or flight. If I'm in fight or flight, I'm not digesting. That means that food is storing this toxin and poison in my body. How many times have people eaten while they're angry or sad or fearful?
Oh, yeah. That's obesity, my friend. Yeah.
The other side of it too is from the emotions, there's the chemicals in everybody's environment right now. And if you go through the 28-day life reset, we actually talk about this, and we're going to start creating more articles and build more awareness around this, because if you get out of bed and you go into your shower and you take shampoo and you put it on your head, and that shampoo has chemicals in it, and you do that every other day, well, what happens? You're putting your body into a stress state. You're putting it into a deficit. You haven't even started your day. And those chemicals have to go somewhere, and if they build up enough, the body no longer has the ability to filter them out. So you start building more fat tissue, you start holding on to it longer, your body starts to become more dysfunctional over time. So one of the first things that we talk about is cleaning the environment, clearing it from all the harmful chemicals. So your hygiene products and your cleaning products.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you putting in your dishwasher? What are you putting in your laundry? What deodorant are you using? What shampoo are you using? What soaps are you using? What food are you eating? Does it have chemicals in it? Because these are the things that we do every day. And if you're doing them every day, and every time you do it, it puts you in a deficit, then that's really hard to come out of.
You guys, they're so right about that. The holistic lifestyle and being natural is so important. Yeah.
When I was
So
young,
people don't
tampons were made of cotton, and now they're made of, I don't know what they're made of, but they're full of chemicals
It's
now.
the same chemical composition as a cigarette.
Like a cigarette, yeah.
And you're putting it right into putting it into epithelial tissue. So basically, you're better off technically to eat your tampon from a health perspective than you are to insert it.
Oh my gosh, this is so personal to talk about. But in the last year, I can't use them anymore because it hurts. It affects in a certain way.
Right?
It's not so comfortable, Cynthia, you know what I mean?
In the last 20 years, they've increased the amount of chemicals on your tampons and your feminine products by 5,000 to 10,000%. It's gradually been ratcheting up, and it's no longer cotton, as she was saying. And here's what's worse, is that girls younger are using products, feminine products, that they weren't. When I was a kid, you didn't wear makeup until you were in high school and in the late senior years. Today, 3-year-olds are putting toxic makeup on them,
Nail polish.
And they're putting chemicals in their hair and stuff like this. And we just accept it's true, but what we're forced with, every single disease on the planet Earth, mental, physical, or emotional Earth, is at its peak. There's never been a time in history when we've been as sick as we are right now. And one thing I want to point out is we have this big media engine. So we get 20 million contacts a week, and we get thousands of DMs, and we see what's happening. And before, I grew up, you don't talk about religion or politics if you want to be peaceful. But what COVID did is now we don't talk about personal health issues. So we have an entire population and generation now not talking about their personal issues. So they've made our personal health, which is the only way to solve it, is to talk about it. It's not to hide it, because there's not enough doctors on the planet Earth to help what's coming this year.
They don't talk to you the same as you guys do, because at the same time, when you go to the doctor, I had hemorrhoids, guys, really bad. And when I went to deal with that, right, they were really great, but not any talk of how to fix it internally and have that stop. Just, make sure to drink Metamucil.
Well,
so I feel kind of like that's where my brain started realizing.
Hemorrhoids are coming from your liver. So the emotion that you're probably processing is anger.
Yes.
Resentment.
I have this.
That's where hemorrhoids are coming from. So if we deal with the physical outcome of hemorrhoids, but we don't deal with the fact that there's an emotion there,
it keeps coming.
That's just going to, it's going to metastasize somewhere else and something else.
I know, I'm worried about my health, you guys. That's why I got into health, because like your video, you were sharing that you weren't well and you didn't have like the help you needed, and you had to literally do an alternative. And when you did your research, you realized that it's not medicine. Like there's so many alternatives to medicine and everything. So I want to know why you guys named your business Human Garage. That is like an interesting thing to me.
Well,
I've never heard that term for a body.
The name came from the clinical practice. Because what at the time is that when we started the work, it looked like our marketing people at the time, back in 2013, 14, they looked at it and says, it looks like you're a mechanic, like you're fixing stuff, because you're not working like a normal doctor. And so then it was like, well, they got body garage, and then that gets confusing. So Human Garage was just a derivative, but if you think about it from a perspective, we take our second most prized asset, which is a valued asset, is a car we put in our garage. We tinker with things in our garage. We have moments of our life that we remember in the garage. Businesses were started out of the garage. And that was the name, but that was the name that got us there, because we used to fix and repair people. But if you think about
that makes sense. Yeah.
If you think about it today from a business perspective, we're now educating people, and some of the greatest businesses in the world started in the garage. Microsoft, Apple, number of businesses that you can point to that are worldwide names started in a garage. And so we're taking that next approach, and it's also to give people the ability and the right to feel comfortable. I mean, the names and the terms that are used in medicine are so scary and authoritative. I mean, the diagnoses that are out there, it's crazy, but people are scared of them. But what they're just simply doing is using Latin to say you've got fascia that is bugging you, or you've got a hemorrhoid or something like that. We've made the understanding of our bodies inaccessible, because we've used language that is not colloquial, and it's hard to understand. So it's like people come to me all the time. Well, I have this diagnosis, and I'm like, first of all, it's like I have the fibromyalgia. That's my diagnosis. I'm like, well, sorry, fibromyalgia is not a diagnosis. It's a notification of symptoms. And what it simply means is that with enough contact points of pain, we can't tell you why it's there. So naming it something makes it live and life, and talk about it, and it stops the progression of understanding. Because, it's fibromyalgia, stop. Okay, full stop. We don't have to look anymore. But it doesn't describe why it's there or what it's there.
Yeah, they don't go into depth when you're at a doctor's appointment. No, definitely not. They just tell you what's up.
We have so many great doctors who are following us and reaching out. Some of the world's top orthopedic surgeons have actually reached out and consulted with us. And what I want to put a hats off to all of the medical professionals, doctors, practitioners, because you're seeing that it's working, and the reason why you're talking to us is usually because your patients are getting better. And I want to applaud their humility in coming up and asking the question. Because I don't know if I'd spent 30 years in a profession, if I'd be asking some punk kid like me about the body.
Yeah, because it is new. Yeah, I bet you guys do have a lot of struggle with how people are reacting to this and like the comments. Like, what's the biggest, how do you, when you have like a hater or whatever you want to say for online, how do you deal with it for real? You just be like, spout them out with you say, okay, I'm going to teach you right now.
There's a couple things. One, if somebody says something that impacts me emotionally, or I have a feeling around it, that means I took all my emotions and I handed it to that person, and at any point they can wave my emotions around and make me feel a certain way. So the first step is to go deep inside myself and actually work on the reasons why that would bother me, and to work on my emotions and to take back my power, because if somebody can say something at any point and make me frustrated, then I'm at mercy of them. So that's the first step. So step number 2 is, we honestly, at this point, it doesn't bother us, so we just let it go. And because of the community that we're building, we're here to support each other, and we're encouraging others in our community, so they come back and they answer for us, and they're actually saying really nice things back and defending for us. So we don't need to play that battle anymore, because every time I go to reply to a comment like that, I'm taking away my energy to defend my ego, rather than take my energy and empower somebody else to heal themselves or live a better life. So it's not worth our time anymore to focus on the people who are angry and releasing their emotions. It's to spend our time helping the people who are ready to hear the message and want to help themselves.
My gosh, you guys are like speaking to my soul. I'm like, yes, I will do everything you say. I understand. You guys know what's up. So Cynthia, I want to get more into you as well. I like that you're the woman in the group. So you do, yes, obviously. You do the feminine kind of movements with Gary and Jason. And I want to know what you feel about being a part of this group and being the woman of the group to be able to educate the women.
Well, I feel honored to be the woman in this group because these are 2 amazing men. I find I bring a balance. I feel I bring that feminine aspect to the way we used to work together when we work on a table. I was the one that could kind of ground a space quite easily. And with my metaphysical background, I brought a non-body vibe to the work that we were doing. So I think that the 3 of us balance each other out very well. And there was a point where I had asked for some fire in my life, so I got 2 Sagittariuses.
Oh, what are you?
Pisces.
Me too!
Oh, wow.
When's your birthday?
That's why I'm so happy. I'm happy today because of you guys. Like, your energy that you're giving me, I can't stop smiling for some reason. I'm not sure why. March 12th, 1988.
You're actually technically a Sagittarius Pisces, so you're adventurous, infinity and belong. You're all about belief.
No way. No one's ever told me that, and I know a lot of friends who are spiritual. Oh my gosh. Okay, Jason, you're the young buck of the group, probably young 20s, 30s, I'm not sure, but and the cute one, just kidding. Sorry, Gary. Sorry, Gary. But so what about you? Let's share about your journey as well, getting into this group. I want to know more about how you guys came together, so people know about you guys, not just what you do. Yeah. We'll get to Gary after that.
My journey started young. I was an entrepreneur as a kid. I was selling candy to the other kids in my class, and I had my newspaper route and all these other jobs that I was doing because I wanted to always do something meaningful with my life. And growing up as an athlete, I had a lot of injuries. So those injuries led me to go to rehab for my body and learn a little bit about it. And one day my mom got really hurt as well, and she wanted some help. And that motivated me, my personal issues in my body and what she was going through. I wanted to learn how to help. And so I went to school for biomedical physiology and kinesiology. It's a bit of a mouthful, but I did that for 7 years. And through that process, I was miserable. I hated studying the body. I didn't like the way that the school system was teaching. I thought that it was too much on the pathways and the micro, and it didn't allow me to actually experience what it was like to help somebody. And the whole time, I'm like, okay, what are better ways to learn about the body and help other people? And I always knew at the back of my head that there was something more to the body than what we were told. So the moment I graduated, I was going to go to physiotherapy school. And I was 6 months out of school saving up. And I realized I don't want to do this anymore. There's a better way to do it. And the moment that I had done that, I don't know what happened, but I met somebody and they introduced me to Gary. And that was actually, hang on. In 2 days, it would be our 4 years that we met. We met on January 27th, 2020.
Friendship anniversary.
Yeah. My friend said, you know, I see that you like to work with the body. My uncle or my family friend works with fascia. Here's a podcast. I think you should come and do a session with him. And to me, it was like, everybody says they're working with fascia. I don't know what the human garage is. I didn't know who he was. But for whatever reason, I was drawn. It was something that was pulling me there. And literally from the moment I got there to the moment I left, I said, I want to be a part of this for the rest of my life. And so when I walked away from the house, I'm like, get me signed up. Like, how do I get involved in this? And from there, we just started innovating the therapy.
Yeah, that word pull is, that seems to resonate with a lot of people, that they feel a pull. And so when I picked Gary up on the street corner, which is how we met, it was a definite pull after we met. And then the history goes from there. But
You know, it was, we had, well, at the time, through the help of a lot of people, with Human Garage was an interesting experiment, because what we did is took down and broke down all the medical practices. We had 3 or 4 practitioners, including doctors, working on every person all the time. So you go in, there's a table, there's 4 people or 5 people around you. Needles in, acupuncture, chiropractic, you're meeting with a medical doctor, a functional medicine doctor, a psychologist sometimes, a witch doctor. I mean, we had plant medicine. So I had this inspiration around fascia, and it started solving my own issue, because I used to feel guilty asking for my practitioner's time, even for myself, because we're all tired at the end of the day. We were 3,000 people on a waiting list in a clinic that, 10,000 patients. And so I didn't even want to ask them for their time. So this working on this fascia was my relief, but I hadn't experienced the therapy that I've been delivering for a couple of years at all, until Jason and Cynthia. And Jason had learned it. He was the first person to duplicate the therapy. So when I came back to Vancouver to write, I was intending to write a book on fascia. And that was the first time that I'd ever experienced the therapy that I had given to other people.
Oh my God. Yeah, no one could do it for you. Oh my gosh, because you're creating it.
And so, and for those who are my practitioners who work with me, they're all fantastic and they do parts of it. But embodying it rather than doing it, twisting the body in the right spot, is not doing fascial maneuvers, is not doing assisted fascial maneuvers. So Jason just mimicked me until he had the feeling. And then once he had the feeling, he delivered it to me, him with another guy named Brad. And it was like a hallelujah breakdown, because it was the first time that I had experienced this treatment. And then I realized why people were so attracted to it. Because I just saw it, and I saw what it did, and I said, this works.
And I remember that day. It was
What were you working on, Gary? What was you can all share what your ailments were that you have been working on yourselves, and
Mine are pretty documented. You can listen to the series. Just type in Gary Lineham with 2 R's podcast. You'll see me podcasting with the who's who in the health industry. I thought I was working on back pain and neck pain, and I had 8 concussions. I lost the ability to use a computer at one point. But none of that, now looking back at it, I wasn't working on any of that. I was getting that out of the way so I could work on what caused it. It was the way that I was emotionally processing the world. And I would take and hold those emotions. Imagine you're angry or you're fearful. When you're fearful in your body, it contracts. Now, if I get up like a big tough guy and walk around all day long, that contraction in my body causes a pattern. Do that for 20 or 30 years. I was trying to fix the physical symptoms of my body, and that's why they wouldn't go away, is because they weren't physical. And this is what I learned. Today, every disease and every dysfunction in the body, think of the word disease. My body's not at ease, it's disease. If I'm angry in my body, I have disease. If I'm fearful, I have disease. If I'm angry and I eat, my food doesn't digest properly. That causes more waste and more disease, more processing for the body. And eventually I do that over a long period of time, 15, 20, 30 years later. Now a medical doctor can go, hey, you have something that's wrong with you. And they try to fix the symptom of it without understanding where that came from in the first place. So my issues, you can follow the journey. The interesting thing is if you follow my podcast chronologically, the neat thing about it is each and every one of them tell the journey as it was going. It tells what we were, because I talked about every discovery as we had it.
That's so cool, Gary. Did you, when you started that, like, know that you'd become famous for doing this and like changing the world or whatnot? But that's kind of like
There was an intent.
interesting how you knew that to document that.
I made a promise. I had a federally sponsored vacation. I used to encrypt data for the governments, and they didn't like what I did. So politically, I ended up in 27 months in a federal penitentiary fighting an illegal case. And I made a commitment at that point that if I was to get out and solve my issues and feel good in my body again, that I would do this for the rest of my life. So.
Oh my God, there is a bigger. Oh my God, you guys are so cool. Oh, Albert, I don't know how long it's been, you guys, but I know that we will keep following your guys' journey. I personally am gonna check out your podcast. I've already seen like all your videos on socials, but there's not enough, so I need more of a fix, because just talking with you guys really makes people think to love themselves and to do the things that will be good for them. I think that's like I'm adopted from Romania. So I've got a boatload of those confusion and issues and all that thing. And my mother has liver issues and stuff herself. So it's interesting that you said that about her, about me as well. So when I came to Canada, the reason why I even came to Canada was because I was about to die when I was 3. I wasn't able to eat. My whole family has this issue with like our gastro issues where we feel so sick to the point where it's like painful. And like it's been to the point where it's so bad I can't even. And when I went to the doctors, this was about 5, 6, 7 years ago, they didn't do anything for me. They just said, well, sorry, here's some. I had everything under the sun tested. And I thought it's like ulcers or something. And you know what it was, Gary? It was really the stress of the traumas I've had. And I'm still dealing with that. So I feel like you're such a psychologist behind the scenes of like humanology and our spirit, behind it needs to be worked on. So I love how, Jason, you were talking about that as well, that you go, no, when I have a problem in life, I think about it in terms. That is, you guys are on a different level mentally and spiritually, I think. So that takes a lot of maturity, knowledge, and strength to calm your emotions. So I think if people learn that a bit more, that could stop our body from having therapy, all that things need to be done. Yeah.
So one more thing I want to share about my story is that my parents' generation followed a journey or a path. You go to college, you get an education, you work a job, you get a pension, you have a marriage, you have a kid, you work it out, you make all this stuff happen, right? Mm-hmm. Well, my generation followed that path, including myself. And after following it for 26 years, it got me to a point where I was not where I needed to be in my body at that age. And so that was my wake up. That was really the turning point for me, was to say, I'm not supposed to feel like this at this age. And looking at it, my parents' generation, my friends' parents, all of them, I was watching. And I'm saying, if I'm going to follow somebody, I want to know what the end result is. And the end result is right now is that they're all sick in their bodies. They're not where they want to be in their lives. Divorce is at an all-time high. The happiness is low. All of these problems are coming out of it, and even their pensions aren't supporting them anymore. So from the perspective of a 26-year-old kid following that journey, being told by all my teachers and all my mentors and all the parents and all that, this is the journey that you follow, getting to the end of that and realizing that I'm not happy, I'm miserable, I feel like crap in my body, I was angry. And that's really what woke me up for this journey, is to say, okay, I'm going to go and swing a different way, and I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to try something different and hope that it's better, at least knowing that I tried. And I'm going to share along the way. And that's really where what drives me every single day is to wake up and discover different ways to optimize my health and then share that journey with
Yeah, totally. I want to know, so you know those moments, like kind of with you, with us, you know, this is a moment for me actually, where I think, oh, I really want to maybe change like the way I'm living my lifestyle. Yeah, I agree with this. I feel this for myself. But for you guys, like when you met Gary, what's that story of like what it's like that few days before you met him, what you were going through? Like there's always something, guys, that happens with that turn of events where like, you know, something traumatic happens and then they connect with somebody that makes that happen. But for you, Jason, what was that actually made that turning point? Like that one day you're just sitting there like, oh, and then you're like, no, I'm going to go talk to my friend that made this. Like, what was the story of?
Well, it actually goes in with what I was just saying. I had a college education. I played amateur professional sports. I had a girlfriend. I was making very good money. I was about to go to get a degree in physiotherapy. You know, I had an apartment downtown. I had done everything that I was told.
Everything, yeah.
I did everything that I was told up until a reasonable point at my age to then realize that I'm sick, I'm not happy, and I'm not where I want to be in my life. And if you see my before photo and you see my after photo, you'll be blown away. Literally, I as a joke, I reversed them, and it looked like I went through war, going from one to the other. So that is how much I have become younger in the last 4 years, and I'm only 29 right now. I can only imagine what that would look like for somebody in their 70s to be able to do this process, to be able to heal themselves, clean their environment, take care of themselves. What would that do for the rest of the population?
I don't know. You know, something that's interesting about what you said about the products you're using, and I noticed on your site, on your shop, you've got vitamins, and there's some other supplements and other things as well. And I was gonna think like, oh, what should I use, you guys, for products? Tell me, because you guys know. But like my family in Romania, right? They're dead poor, have been for centuries, their whole families. There's a lot of them, right? There's like I have like 200 family members in like one town almost. And so the one thing about it though is my grandmother with barely any health care, okay? She's like 83 something and she's skinny and she's still alive and okay. Why is that? In Romania, in the depths of like the shithole of life pretty much where they had to live. And it's because they ate naturally. They cooked their own food. They did not eat weird products. They always eat natural. So what does that say to people?
Let's really talk about this. First of all, you don't need supplements to heal.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I may use that word.
Yeah, and second of all, there are some basics that everybody can do right now. You can add silica in high doses to your body. Diatomaceous earth is the best form. A 20-pound bag will cost you $30. It'll last you for 5 years. Take 2 to 5 teaspoons a day. Almost everything in your life will get better from that point forward. Take some basic minerals. When I went and studied the body was 80% water. The official stat right now is 65 to 70%. We came out with a stat in 2019 showing 88% of our patients were chronically dehydrated. Don't want to go into the reasons why. Our 28-day reset will tell you why, but it's simply because people's bodies aren't working the way they used to because chemicals have been added to our diet. In Romania and places like that, they're often too poor to have all the chemicals. So that's part of it.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's super important. We are to understand why we brought the supplements out. We did our reset that you see with us changing our bodies, and all those pictures were done without any supplements, only the minerals to hydrate the system and move the body. Movement is the cure for the body. There's no supplement on the planet that can cure you. There's no medicine. Medicine and supplements give your body the space to do what it's supposed to do. There's no doctor or no person that can heal you. Your body heals itself. It just needs the right environment to do so. We are a not-for-profit organization, and we are setting up a foundation right now. And none of us have salaries. We have down here, how many people? 10. We have 10 people down here. None of them have salaries now. We are working because we see the world going into this health crisis next year. And we are working, getting content out with basic things that people can do everywhere. The majority of people can't afford our stuff. So Romania is a very big market for us. Same thing with Croatia and India and markets like that where people don't have the money or the resources to do this, because movement itself has to work. If movement can't cure you, then you have a bigger problem than you can even imagine. And the most important part of this whole journey is that we chose to live a different life. And that different life was to give up. Like, we have the clothes on our back. We can pack up in 10 minutes and everything that we own is on a plane going somewhere else.
Nice.
And now we have people that are successful in their lives that are doing the same thing. And the reason why that we're doing this is because people need help right now, not next year, not in 5 years. And you can't help somebody else if you don't have to be perfect, but you can't help somebody else if you're not willing to help yourself.
Yeah.
So it's super important that people, they can go right now, they can go to our 1-day reset, they can do the stress reset. If they do that every day and they don't do anything else but that 15 minutes, their life is impacted dramatically at the end of the 28th day. And because we've discovered things about the human body that people have not known. And it doesn't matter what practice that they come from. And this is why we're sharing it openly, because it benefits every practice of allopathic, naturopathic, spiritual, everything. We found consciousness, but we found it through our bodies. So it means that we got our bodies out of the way. Our brain is not a computer. Our body's a computer. Our brain's a processor that presents information and so that we can see it and act on it. But our bodies are the magic. And we have been taught that these bodies are stupid suits. And we just keep running until they break down. That is so untrue.
Yeah.
You have 50 trillion cells in your body. Each cell has 1.4 volts in it with a negative and positive charge on the inside, outside the cell. That means that your body is 70 trillion volts of electricity, which means you have the same charge as a lightning bolt. And we've been dumbed down. We have been taught that this is a meat suit, that it should just work, and we've been given tools that don't work. And if you look at society right now, look at the bodybuilding. I came from bodybuilding movement. I was one of the original bodybuilders. I went to the Nationals to go pro in 1989. Now look at that generation of bodybuilders. We just put a podcast up the other day. Look at the generation of the bodybuilders now. They're all messed up, the guys who are
Oh, totally. I'm friends with Bret Hart in Calgary.
What's going to happen to the women right now that are doing this? The women look like men. And you have the right to do whatever you want, but they're working out. I come from LA, and in LA, the women are more buff than the guys are. And this isn't healthy. It wasn't healthy for the guys. It's not healthy for the girls or the women or however they want to identify it. It's not healthy to live this life where we see these bodies that are portrayed as healthy. They're not. They're sick.
A lot of people saying.
Yeah, if they look healthy, chances are they're really sick and they just haven't figured it out yet. And
It takes steroids a lot of the time, you guys, to look like that, as we know.
Yeah, even the ones that don't.
So we got to run, but there's two things. One, people were asking for my before and after. And then two, I want to sync out.
Yeah.
And because we didn't get to do a maneuver with you, but this.
What's this? Yes, I want to show. I did see that. I know you look so thinner. Your face on one side is a bit crooked. I know, it's so weird.
Yeah. So this
is so
is
weird, man,
possible.
and that's so.
You can get younger, and we have a process, and we've made it simple. So for anybody watching this, just head to our website, humangarage.net, and we guide you through the journey from 1 days all the way up to the lifestyle.
And as a Romanian refugee or immigrant, look at Aziza Art, and she's out of Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
She's a story, Romanian, separated from her twin at birth, and she painted. Her artwork has hung in the Human Garage since the day that we opened.
Oh my God!
Take a look. The whole
DM
story of her
her.
uniting with her twin that she didn't even know she had a twin.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had 12 siblings either. So thank you guys so much for the time. I can't believe that we got to do this.
We're
Have a good day.
Together with you and everybody else.
Really? Okay. Oh,
So you can
okay.
see-
Here we go.
Put
I
your
will
right
say.
foot over. Your right foot over.
Yeah.
Take your right arm, put it underneath your left armpit.
Okay.
Left arm on top. This syncs our energy, so everything we talked about, all the emotions are neutralized as we go through. We do it before and after everything we do. Turn your head to the left and your body to the right. Okay, and we're going to breathe in 6 times together. We'll breathe 3 through the mouth and 3 through the nose. So 3, 2, 1 through the mouth. 2. 3. Through the nose. 2. 3.
Nice.
How do you feel
That
now?
feels nice.
Thank
I
you.
feel calm. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Looking forward.
We'll talk soon.
We'll send you all the stuff that you need for the magazine. So
Yes.
looking forward.
My audience can't wait to see you guys in there, and we'll talk a lot more online.
Yeah.
Cheers,
And
guys.
Give them a follow. Head to their account and give them a follow.
Everybody who's
You're
watching
welcome.
this, give them a follow. Help. This is these are magazines, paper magazines that need all the help that they can get right now. We don't want to lose the fact that the world belongs in print. We don't belong. Everything does not belong on a screen. Very few people are doing it. Thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It goes across Canada, so all your fans across Canada can see it. So thank you guys so much for your time. Gary, I am a huge fan of you and your group, so thank you so much for your time today. Guys, go check out humangarage.org and get into it. January 29th and February 4th, both are classes. One is virtual and one is online. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Human Garage.net.
Done that.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All good.